Hope you all watched the previous videos. We start the session. We continue the chapter 3, measuring device and tools. Okay. Which of the following is an indirect measuring tool? It is inside caliper. Okay. It is an indirect measuring tool, while vernier calipers, universal bevel protractors, and inside micrometers are direct measuring tools. Okay. In indirect measurement, the job is directly measured by measuring tools. Okay. In indirect measurement, we have a helping tool with the main measuring tool. Okay. Name the caliper which has one divider point and other is bent leg. That is Jenny caliper. Okay. So in the image you can see that one leg is bent like this, right? Okay. And here too. And one sharp needle like point, that is divider point. Okay. So the Jenny caliper is also called odd leg caliper because of the bent leg shape. Okay. And other name also there, that is hermaphrodite caliper. Okay. And while measuring by Jenny caliper, its both legs should be placed parallel and at right angle of the workpiece. Okay. Calipers are calipers are indirect measurement instruments. Okay. The job is measured by the main tools in indirect measurements such as calipers, gauges, dividers. Okay. And steel rules, micrometers, vernier calipers, bevel protractors are direct measuring tools. Okay. Which caliper takes more time in setting dimensions? That is spring caliper. Okay. Spring caliper takes more time in setting dimensions. Okay. In spring caliper, the legs are assembled by means of a pivot loaded with a spring. Okay. You can see in the image. Okay. For opening or closing the caliper legs, a screw and nut are provided. Okay, you can observe here a screw and nut. Okay, is provided. The setting will not change unless the nut is turned. Okay, the size of caliper is specified by its length, which is the distance between the pivot center and tip of the leg. Okay, length will be calculated from this point, that is pivot point. Okay, and the end of the leg. Okay, it is tip of the leg. Okay, size of a vernier height gauge is specified by, that is specified by height of the beam. Okay, you can see in the image. So column or beam. Okay, so the height size of a vernier height gauge is specified by height of the beam. Okay, beam of vernier height gauge is similar to the main scale of vernier caliper. Okay, and is attached to the base. Okay, attached to the base here. Okay, and the vernier height gauge is mainly used in the inspection of parts and layout work with a scribing attachment. Okay, heights or vertical distance may also be measured using the bottom of the scribe. Okay, the heights can be measured by this bottom of the scribe. Okay, vernier height gauge is mainly used for, the vernier height gauge is mainly used for layout work. Okay, so vernier height gauge are provided with both straight and offset scribers. Okay, the lower side of the base is hardened, ground, and lap. Okay, vernier height gauge can also measure up to 0.02 mm in metric. Okay, 0. Least count is 0.02 mm. Okay, and 0.01 inch in British system. Okay, So this is the height case. Okay. In a combination set square arrangement shown in the figure, the value of obtuse angle is. So we have to calculate this angle, right? Okay. So two types of set squares are there, right? So one is 45, 45, 90 degree and 30, 60, 90 degree. So here it is 90. Okay, you can see this is the 45 because shape is like that. Okay, so 45 degree. So this is the smaller angle, that is 30. Okay, this is 60. Okay, and this is 90 degrees. Okay, so this total angle is 180, right? This is 90 degrees. So x plus 30 plus 30 degrees plus 45 degrees equals to 180 degrees. So here x equals to 105 degrees. Okay. So 180 minus 75 degrees, that is equals to 105 degrees. Okay. So here the obtuse angle is 105 degrees. Okay. 1/4 of a circle covers 90 degree. 3/4 of the circle covers how many degrees? Okay. 1/4 means 1/4, right? So 1/4 part equals to how much? 90 degrees, right? So 90 degrees. Okay. And 3/4 part equals to how much? We have to find out. So 1 part equals to from this, okay, 90 degrees into 4. That is how much? 360, right? So 3/4 part equals to how much? 3/4 times the 360. Okay, that is how much? 490 that is equals to 270 degrees. Okay, so here the option B is right. Okay, the least count of a vernier caliper in which 19 mm main scale divisions are divided into 20 equal divisions. Okay, so one main scale division is 1 mm here. Okay, one main scale division equals to 1 mm. Okay, so one vernier scale division equals to 1 vernier scale division equals to 19 upon 20. Okay, so least count equals to one main scale division. Okay, one MSD main scale division minus one vernier scale division. Okay, VSD. Okay, so here 1 minus 1 main scale division is 1 mm, right? So 1 minus 19/20, that is vernier scale division. So we get the answer 1/20. That's equal to 0.05 mm here. Okay, so the answer is how much? Option D, 0.05 mm. Okay, it is used to measure the internal size of an object, that is inside caliper. Okay, you can see this is the inside caliper. Okay, these are available in 75, 100, 150, 200 and 300 mm sizes. Okay, the caliper are two types such as simple inside caliper and spring inside caliper. Okay, it is made by carbon steel. Okay, and its leg, you can see its legs are outwards. Okay, it turn outwards. okay, to measure the inside dimension. Okay, if we want to find a ring inside diameter, we will use inside caliper. Okay, so in which caliper rack and pinion setup is used for operation of sliding unit, that is vernier height gauge. Okay, you can see here in the uh, for operation of sliding unit, rock and pinion arrangement is used. Okay, it is used to measure vertical dimension from reference ground. Okay, it consists of a graduated scale or a bar is held in a vertical position by a finely ground fixed base. Okay, and the least count is 0.02 mm. Okay, here the least count is 0.02 mm. Okay, calipers which are available with the heel or usual bent leg are known as, that is hermaphrodite caliper. Okay, so this is also called bent leg caliper or a Jenny caliper, right? So you can see here in the image, one leg is bent like this. Okay, so that is why it's called bent leg caliper. Okay, and it has one leg bent inward and one straight leg. Okay, ending in a sharp point like this. Okay, it can also be used to look at the center of cylindrical shape works. Okay, it is used to lay out lines that are parallel with the edge of the workpiece. Okay, it is the very important one. Okay, thermoformed caliper. Okay, which measurement is done by vernier bevel protractor, that is angle. Okay, you can see in the image. Okay, this is the vernier bevel protractor. By placing the object here, okay, we can find the angle. Okay, one main scale division in vernier caliper is 1 mm. Okay, and there are 20 equal divisions on the vernier scale which match with 16 main scale division. Okay, what will be the least count for this vernier calipers? So, well, 1 MSD equals to 1 mm. Okay, one main scale division equals to 1 mm. Okay, number of divisions on vernier scale are 20. Okay, um, one vernier scale division is 1 VST, that is equals to coincidence point is 16 upon 20. Okay, because 20 equal divisions are there, right? So this is also in mm. Okay, so least count equals to 1 MST minus VST. Okay, so here 1 minus 16 upon 20, that is equals to 1 by 5, right? 1 by 5, because 4 by 20 is the output. Okay, so 1 by 5 equals to 0.2 mm. Okay, so here the answer is option B. Okay, the reading given by spectrometer when it is used to measure the angle of prism as follows. Okay, so this is the given data. From this we have to calculate the angle of prism, right? So here vernier scale division, one vernier scale division equals to here, yeah, 29 by 30 main scale divisions. Okay, so least count equals to 1 MST minus 1 VST. Okay, so here 1 means 1 minus 1 VST means 29 by 30. Okay, how much we're getting? 1 by 30, right? So here he mentioned that one division on main scale corresponds to 0.5 degree. That is of degree. Okay, of degree. So that is equals to 1 by 60 degrees. Okay. So total reading equals to MST plus VST into least count, right? So total reading, total reading equals to MST plus VST into least count. Okay. So here, what is the MST given? Yeah, main scale reading is 58.5. So 58.5 degrees plus Vernier scale reading is 9 divisions. So 9 into least count is 1 by 60 degree, right? So we're getting 58.5 degree plus it is around 0.15. Okay. So total reading is 58.65 degrees. Okay. So the prism angle is 58.65 degrees. Option D. Okay. Match the following items. It is for a vernier caliper measures diameter. Here it is 3. Okay. Degree of repetitiveness. That is precision. Right. So 4. Sine bar measures. That is angle. Okay. It measures angle. Screw gauge. Remaining one is 1. So 3, 4, 2, 1. 3, 4, 2, 1. That's option A. Okay. Least count of inside caliper is, that is, 0.5 mm. Okay. It is used for measuring slot width and inside diameter. Okay. And it is available in the size of 75, 100, 150, 200 and 300 mm sizes. Okay. Which of the following is true for Jenny caliper? To draw a line at a set distance from the edge of the work. So that's the right one. Okay. So you can see here the Jenny caliper, okay, or odd leg or hermaphrodite caliper. Okay. So it is also known as hermaphrodite. Okay. Hermaphrodite or odd leg. Okay. Odd leg caliper. Okay, because it's bent like this. Okay, bend inwards. Okay. And it can be used to look at the center of cylindrical shaped pieces. Okay. And also used to draw a line at a set distance from the edge. Okay. Jenny caliper is also called as, we have discussed, that is hermaphrodite caliper. Hermaphrodite caliper is also called. So you can observe that how many repetitive questions are related to the Jenny caliper, right? So here the option is odd leg caliper. Okay. So Jenny caliper is the most important thing you have to remember. Okay. Which of the following is not a measuring instrument? That is hermaphrodite caliper, because it is an indirect measuring instrument. Okay. Remaining a direct measuring instrument. Mark the odd one out. Hermaphrodite caliper, vernier caliper, Jenny caliper, odd caliper. So you can see hermaphrodite, Jenny, odd leg caliper are same. So the odd one is vernier. Okay. Which one of the following can be used to scribe lines parallel to the edge of the part? That is hermaphrodite caliper. Okay. You can see here in the image. Okay. Describing the lines parallel to the edge of the Okay. Which one of the following hand tool is used while handling a hot welding job? That is tong. Okay. So these are the different tongs. Okay. So flat tong and link tong, rivet tong, square clip tongs, angle tongs, tong with holding ring. Okay. For the better grip. Okay. And the pliers or anvil or pickup tong, hollow bit tong. Okay. These are the different types of tongs. Inside caliper is used to measure. It is used to measure both hole and keyway diameter. Okay. So this is the inside caliper. Okay. And it is an indirect measuring tool because when we measure it, we don't know the size of the width of the slot. Okay. Or inner diameter of the measured slot. Okay. Therefore, after measuring the width of the slot or inner diameter, the caliper is checked with the steel rule. Okay. Which type of caliper is used to measure the width of slot? So here we have discussed it before, right? That is inside caliper. Okay. So these are the inside calipers, and the second picture that is outside caliper. So outside means here, let us say one block is placed in between the jaws. Okay. So the outside dimensions are measured. Okay. So inside means if you want to calculate a ring diameter, I mean ring inner diameter, then we will use inside caliper. So the legs are bent outwards. Here the legs are bent inwards. Okay. What is the use of odd leg caliper? It is to find the center of cylindrical parts. Okay. It is also known as hermaphrodite or Jenny caliper. Okay. So you can see here, it has one leg bent inward. Okay. So you can see this is bent inward, right? So, and one straight leg ending in a sharp point. See here. Okay. It is a tool used to lay out lines that are parallel to the edge of the workpiece. Okay. It can also be used to look at the center of cylindrical shape workpieces. Okay. Which caliper is used for quick setting? That is spring joint caliper. Okay. So this is the spring joint caliper. Okay. So it is a measuring instrument consisting of two legs, okay, and a spring. Here you can observe the ring type of structure you can observe, right? That is spring, okay. And this setup is called nut and bolt, okay, adjusting nut. Okay, you can see adjusting nut, okay. So it is used for quick setting, okay. It is transfer measuring tool, okay. So it is an indirect tool, okay. By which name odd leg caliper is not known. Transfer caliper, Jenny caliper, hermaphrodite caliper, odd leg caliper. So here option A. Okay, these three are same. Okay, Jenny caliper, hermaphrodite caliper, odd leg caliper same. Okay, working point of simple caliper is that is case hardened. Okay, because it is made of mild steel, so that we have to do case hardened. Okay. What is provided for measuring outside diameter indirectly? That is outside caliper. You can see here in the image, it is the best example how outside calipers and inside calipers are gonna use. Okay, so you can see here, let's take one ring. So ring outer diameter can be calculated by using outside caliper. Okay, it measures the outside diameter of the ring. Okay, so if we take the inside diameter, that can be measured by inside caliper. Okay, so you can see here these are the adjusting screws. Okay, which is used to draw parallel lines on job. That is Jenny caliper. Okay, so you can see here in the image. That is how we use the Jenny caliper to draw parallel lines on the job. Okay, which measured by simple caliper, that is indirect measurements. Okay, the indirect measurements can be measured by simple calipers. Okay, which caliper is joined by rivet and washer, that is firm joint caliper. Okay, you can see here in the image, this is the rivet and washer. Okay, so we can say here this is the firm joint caliper. Okay, by which instrument line is drawn on the edge of round rod. So here vernier height gauge and Jenny caliper both are the instrument used to draw lines on the edge of the round bar. You may doubt that is vernier height gauge gonna do that work or not. Okay, it means yes, a vernier height gauge with a scriber attachment can be used to draw a line on the edge of a round rod, but it's not the ideal tool for this task. Okay, while it can be used to scribe a line at specific height. Okay, it's more commonly used for scribing lines on flat surfaces or for measuring heights on workpieces. Okay, so here you can observe this. This is the scriber to draw lines. Okay, so this is the scriber. Okay, by using the scriber, we can draw lines on the edge of the rod. Okay, but this is not the ideal tool. Okay, I'll write it down here. Not ideal tool for this task. Okay, which one of the following is not used for cutting metals? So that is hammer saw. Okay, so hammer saw, it is used for general carpentry framing, nail pulling, cabinet making, assembling furniture. Okay, hammer saw are designed according to the intended purposes. Okay, dowel pins are used for dash of two or more components. That is accurate positioning of two or more components. Okay, dowel pins used in machine fabrication are metal cylindrical fasteners that retain parts in a fixed position or keep part aligned. Okay. General depending on function of the work, one or two dowel pins are sufficient for holding adjacent parts. Okay. This is the dowel pin. I think you all aware of this dowel pins, right? Roasting is usually done with the help of, that is done with a hand scraper. Okay, the frosting is a process in which scrapped metal surface is decorated with the use of hand scraper. Okay, frosting can also be called as flaking or flooring. Okay, frosting also known as flaking. Okay, flaking or flooring. Okay, so by using the hand scraper we can use frosting. Okay. Dash is a holding device especially for cylindrical objects, that is V blocks. Okay, V block is a holding device especially for cylindrical object. It is also used to measure the roundness of the cylindrical jobs. Okay, the included angle of V block is 90 degrees. You can see here the picture. Okay, V blocks with slick clamp. Okay, For the special purpose such as checking the triangle effect or for tap and other three rooted tools. Okay, 60-degree view block can be secured. The head of witch hammer is generally made up of wood or rubber, that is mallet. Okay, you can see here in the image that is the mallet. Okay, this is the head. Okay, that can be wood or rubber. Okay, here in the image that is rubber. Okay, this can also be a wood. Okay, all hard hawks are blades are made up of which material? That is high speed steel. Okay, and it is hard tempered and has an easily broken tendency because it has no flexibility. Okay, you can see here in the image those are the hard hawks. Okay, sandbar is made of. Sandbar is an instrument used for measuring angles. Okay, it is specified by distance between rollers. It is made of stabilized chromium steel. Okay, so this is the sandbar. Okay, the material used for sandbar is stabilized chromium steel. Okay, sandbar is measurement distance between the middle of rollers. Okay, end of spanner set make an angle of dash with axis, that is 15 degrees. Okay, spanner is a tool used to provide grip and mechanical advantage in applying torque to turn objects. Okay, end of spanner set make an angle of 50 degrees. Okay, the size of screwdriver is measured from. Screwdriver is a tool used for turning screws. Okay, the size of screwdriver is measured from shank. Okay, sandbar is made of, that is stabilized chromium steel. Okay, a sandbar is specified by, it is specified by distance between the roller centers. Okay. To measure a hole of diameter 2 mm, which of the following instrument is used? That is pin gauge. Okay, you can see here in the image. Okay, pin gauge can be used to measure a hole of diameter 2 mm. Okay, that's the right answer. Pin gauge works on go and no go principle. Okay, so you can observe here different types of diameter of the pinholes. Okay, and in the second image, that is varying type of pin gauge. Okay, by inserting the gauge into the hole, by measuring in the shaft, dimensions are given here, right? So by looking at the dimension, we will decide the diameter of the hole. Okay, a hand tool is used for closing and locking of seams in sheet metal work. That is grower. Okay, you can see here in the image. Okay, a hand grower is used to lock the sheet metal seams as shown in the figure. Okay, you can see here in this part. So how the sheet is bent. Okay, so like this. Okay, seam made this way are known as grooved seams. Okay, the kind used on buckets, air ducts, tin cans, etc. Okay, in a signbar, the angle is measured according to the angle formed between the height of slip gauge and length of signbar. Okay, the purpose of using signbar is to find the angle of a tab job. Okay, a signbar is made with 4 or 5 equally spaced holes on its body. The purpose of these holes is, so purpose of these holes is to reduce the weight of signbar and handle the sine bar easily. Okay, so you can see here in the image, these are the relief holes. Okay, which reduces the weight of sine bar. Okay, to handle the sine bar easily. Okay, so these holes are often referred as relief holes while they help with the weight reduction and handling. Okay, they do not directly contribute to the sine bar's primary function of measuring angles. Okay, a sine bar is available in standard sizes. Which of the following is not a standard size of sine bar? So that is option D, 300. Okay, the commonly available sizes are 100 mm, 200 mm, 250 mm, and 500 mm. Okay, chi-square is used to examine. It is used to examine flat surfaces. Okay, you can see here in the image. Okay, tri-square is made of two key parts. The blade is also known as the beam or tong. Okay, here blade or beam or tong. Okay, and this is the stock. Okay, which are fixed together at 90 degrees to form a L shape. Okay, the value of maximum diameter of a circle that can be drawn using trammel is, that is 72 inch. Okay, a trammel point set is used for transferring measurements, scribing arcs, and laying out circles that are too big for conventional compass or dividers. Okay, a precision trammel set includes two scriber points and two pencil points. Okay, identify the tool used to protect the workpiece from being damaged due to frequent use of wrenches. That is strap wrench. You can see here in the image, that is the strap wrench. Okay, strap wrench is used on finished tubular surfaces to avoid marking or damage. Okay, these wrenches have metallic straps by which the surface can be tightly gripped. Okay, the hardest cutting tool material is, that is diamond. Okay, so hardness of the diamond is around, hardness hardness of diamond is around 70,000 to 80,000 Newton per mm square. Okay, least count of vernier bevel protector is given by, that is 2 times the MSD minus 1 vernier scale. Okay, when the zero of the vernier scale coincides with the zero of main scale, the first division of vernier scale will be very close to the second main scale division. Okay, as the least count is 2 MSD minus 1 VSD. Okay, so the least count is here equals to, least count equals to 2 degree. MSD means 24 by 12 minus 1 VSD, that is 23 degree by 12. That's equals to around 1 by 12 degree or 5 minutes. Okay, so the least count of vernier bevel protractor is 5 minutes. Okay, which of the following is a direct measurement tool? That is all of the above. Steel rule is a direct measurement instrument. Micrometer and protractor also a direct measuring instruments. Okay, the size of a tri-square is determined by, it is determined by inside end of the stock tool the final end of the blade. Okay. Identify the type of engineered tri-square shown in the figure. That is an engineered square with stock. Okay. The error in squareness can be accurately determined by using cylinder square and slip gauge. Okay. The spirit level is used for checking the level of machine when it is erected the machine. Okay. The angle plate is made of closed grained cast iron. Okay. So this is the angle plate. Okay. This is made up of closed grained cast iron. Okay. Or a steel, you can say. Okay. Crimping is reduce the dash of a cylindrical shape, allowing it to be slipped into the next section, that is diameter. Okay, crimping is to reduce the diameter of a cylindrical shape, allowing it to be slipped into the next section. Okay, the tool made of cemented carbide wear out faster. It wear faster at slow speeds. Okay, the figure shown the setup of sign bar for taper angle checking. Name the item mark X in the figure. Those are slip gauges. Okay. The size of the dividers are specified by distance between the pivot and the point. Okay. So this is the pivot. Okay. This is the pivot and the point at the bottom. This is the point. So this is the length. Okay. Cutting angle of chisel for chipping mild steel is, that is 55 degrees. Okay. And here I'm mentioning different types of material with point angle and angle of inclination. Okay, this is very important. You may get questions from this. Okay, please remember the instrument used to measure high temperature in the furnace, that is pyrometer. Okay, pyrometer device for measuring relatively high temperature such as are encountered in furnace. Okay, most pyrometer work by measuring radiation from the body whose temperature is to be measured. The advantage of ceramic cutting tools here. So higher cutting speed, longer tool life, reduce built-up edge. So these are the advantages of ceramic cutting tools. Few more are there. That is super surface finish. Okay, sorry, superior surface finish. Okay, the fourth one, superior surface finish. Okay, and coolant is not needed. Okay, not needed. Okay, lower coefficient of friction. Okay, lower coefficient of friction and greater machining flexibility. Okay, greater machining flexibility. Okay, okay, and the ceramic cutting tools are used in machining of hard ferrous materials and cast irons. Okay, it can be used to machine difficult materials at high cutting speeds. Okay, the main characteristic of ceramic cutting tool is, that is the compressive strength. Okay, So few more characteristics of ceramic cutting tools are there. So first one is uh, high compressive strength, and second one is high impact strength. Okay, high impact strength. Okay, and third one is high yielding strength at operating temperature. Okay, high yielding strength at operating temperature. Okay, at operating temperature. And fourth one is high toughness and bending strength. Okay, high toughness and bending strength. Okay, fifth one is excellent conductivity, low thermal expansion for good dimensional stability. Okay, excellent conductivity. And low thermal expansion for good dimensional stability. Okay, ceramic cutting tools are very brittle. Okay, they can be used only on machines which are extremely rigid and free of vibration. Okay, used in machining of hard ferrous materials and cast irons. Okay, I'll write down here. Used in machining of hard ferrous materials and cast iron. Okay, main alloy element in HSS is high speed steels. HSS. Okay, that is tungsten. Okay, so it is around alloying elements in stainless steel are tungsten, chromium, and vanadium. Okay, tungsten, that is represented W, that is around 18%. Okay, and chromium is 4%, and vanadium V equals to 1%. Okay, remaining is stainless steel. Okay, so here main alloying element in high-speed steels is, that is tungsten. Okay, carbon percentage in HSS tool is, so that is 0.6 to 0.75% of carbon. Okay, so a common type high-speed steel contains 18% tungsten, 4% chromium, 1% vanadium. Okay, and only 0.6 to 0.8% of carbon. Okay, so HSS is special alloy steel which is obtained by alloying tungsten, chromium, vanadium, cobalt, and molybdenum with steel. Okay, HSS is used for cutting tool in lathe, shapers, planers, milling machines, drilling machines, broaching machines, and etc. Okay, dowel tail are provided on guideway of machine tool. The clearance between dovetails are adjusted by, so that is adjusted by give. Okay, you can see here in the image, this is the dovetail. Okay, so dovetail guideways are preferred when the location of moving part is considered essential. Okay, these are generally used for milling machine tables, saddles, and knees. Okay, in dovetail type guideways, adjustment for wear can be made by parallel blocks pushed by set screws. Okay, it features extremely rigidity and alignment characteristics. Okay, it is an expensive guideway to produce because of this shape. Okay, High-speed steel contains tungsten, vanadium, chromium, and cobalt in composition of 1841. Which one is 4% in the composition? That is chromium. Okay, 18% is tungsten, 1% is vanadium. Okay, a flat chisel is used to this is used to cutting thin sheet metals. Okay, so you can see here in the image that is flat chisel. So flat chisels are used to remove metal from large flat surfaces, okay, and chip off excess metal of welding. Okay, flat chisel is used to cut bars and rods to reduce surface and to cut sheet metal that is too thick or difficult to cut with thin snips. Okay, the chisel will dig into the material when so that is the angle of inclination is more. So you can see here in the image. So the correct point or cutting or wedge angle of chisel depends on the material to be chipped. Okay, sharp angles are given for soft materials and wide angles for hard materials. Okay, if the clearance angle is too low in the you can observe in the second. Okay, or 0 to the rake angle increases the cutting edge. Okay, and cannot penetrate into the work. Okay, the chisel may slip. Okay, so you can see here it is not penetrating in the work. Okay, if the clearance angle is too great, I mean more, the rake angle reduces. Okay, the cutting edge dig in the workpiece. Okay, and the cut progressively increases. Okay, you can see here in the first image. Okay, so angle of inclination is more. Okay, so cutting is increases rapidly, so progressively. Okay, so initially it cuts this much, but after inclination is more, so the cutting is progressively increased. Okay, the width of a form tool should never exceed times than the smallest diameter of finished part, that is 3 times. Okay, the width of a form tool should never exceed 3 times the smallest diameter of finished part. Okay, cemented carbide is capable of cutting speed, that is option A 3 to 4 times greater than high speed steel cutting tools. Okay, a block level can be used for a block level can be used for checking vertical and horizontal alignment. Okay, you can see here in the image that is block level. Okay, for vertical and horizontal alignment, the block level tools are used. Okay, for horizontal alignment, the spirit level tools are used. Okay, it consists of small glass tube containing the liquid and an air bubble. The tube is sealed and fixed horizontally in a block. Okay, where should the cutting tools be placed? So that is at a distance from all the instruments. Okay, dash allows line to be scribed at a present distance from the table surface. That is height gauge or scribing block. Scribing block is a gauge consisting of scriber mounted on the adjustment stand used to test the accuracy of plane surfaces. Okay. Height gauge may also be used to measure the height of an object by using underside of the scriber the data. Okay. Usually angle plate is designed in grade, that is number 2. Usually angle plate is designed in grade number 2. Okay. They are available in two grades, grade 1 and grade 11. Okay. in different sizes to meet a wide range of requirements. GMT box angle plates are made of closed grain cast iron to IS 210. Okay, grade 20 and hardness is guaranteed to be above 180 PHN. Okay, the grade 2 angle plates are used for general machine shop works. Okay, dash is used for support to job while marking. That is angle plate. Okay, angle plate is used for supporting to job while marking. Straight edges are used to measure, that is flatness. Okay, straight edges are used to measure flatness. For checking the flatness, single edge as well as 3 and 4 edge straight edge may be used with single edge straight edge. Okay, it is applied in different directions at different places on the surface to be tested. Okay, they are available in length from 75 to 175 mm and with 1 to 4 working edges. Okay, straight edges may be classified as tool makes straight edge. Okay, the first one, tool makes straight edge. Okay, and the second one is wide edge straight edge. Okay, wide edge straight edge. Okay, and the third one is angle straight edge. Okay, so these three are the classifications of straight edges. Okay, which of the following is direct measuring tool? That is steel rule. Okay, steel rule is a direct measuring tool. Tri-square, straight edge, ring gauges are indirect measuring tools. Okay, for which die stock is used? It is used to turn the die. Okay, you can see here in the image. Okay, die stock is used while hand threading for managing the die. Okay, and it is used to turn the die. Okay, dies are used to form or cut a nail thread on the outside of rods or bars. Okay, what is the name of given angular measuring instrument in a given figure? That is universal bevel gauge. Okay, it is used for tool makers. Okay, it measures angles. It comes under category of mechanical protractors. Okay, which one is not a part of ordinary depth gauge? That is handle. Okay, ordinary depth gauge. Handle is not a part of ordinary depth gauge. Okay, whether base, graduated beam, and damping screw are part of ordinary depth gauge. Okay, it is an instrument for measuring depth below reference surfaces. Which of the following chisel is used to cut spiral grooves? That is half round nose chisel. Okay, it is also known as gauge chisel. You can see here in the image. Okay, and the third, that is half round chisel. Okay, this is half round chisel. Okay, you can see here the shape is. Okay, it is designed to be used for cutting spiral grooves in metal and includes many specialized pieces, such as cutting semicircular grooves for always in bearing. Okay, after a number of regrinding of chisel, it should be forged before grinding it again. Okay, so after repeated use, the cutting edge of the chisel gets spoiled and its head also fails. Therefore, in order to make a good cutting in a right way, there is a need to grind to chisel. The cutting edge of chisel should be grinded in a slightly convex instead of grinding it straight. Okay? So after a number of regrindings of chisel, it should be forged before graining it again. Okay. The given figure, what the shown figure is. This is a chaser tool. Okay. It is a multi-point cutting tool which is used to cut V threads. Okay. It is of two types, hand chaser and machine chaser. Okay. Hand chaser is used for cleaning the threads of any bolt, etc. and for finishing of threads. Okay. Machine chaser is used to cut threads on capstan, turret or automatic machines. Okay. Cold chisel and woodworking tool are made up of which of the following? That is high carbon steel. Okay. The cold chisel is a hand cutting tool used by fitters for chipping and cutting off operations. Cold chisel are used to remove waste metal when a very smooth finish is not required or when the work cannot be done easily with other tools such as a hacksaw, file, bench shears or power tools. Okay. According to BIS, what is name of V block shown in the figure? That is double level single groove V blocks. Okay. So you can see there are two levels here. So that is double level and single groove. Okay. So option D. Okay. What is the purpose of surface plate? So that is testing of flatness of workmanship. Okay. It is made of cast iron. It is used to check the straightness of workmanship. Okay. It can check up to 0.025 mm flatness. Okay. It can be of square and rectangular shape. It is used to check the surface of job for making a small job. What should be tangent angle of chisel for cutting aluminum? That is 30 degrees. I have given you the material to be cut and point angles of the material. So just look into the previous slides. Okay. So for high carbon steels, point angle is 65, cast iron 60 degree, mild steel 55. Okay. Brass 50, copper 45, aluminum is 30. Okay. Which material is used in power hexa plate? That is high speed steel. Okay. Option B. It is a hand tool used to cut metal. Okay. It is made of either low alloy steel or high speed steel and is available in a standard length of 250 mm and 300 mm. Okay. The selection of blade depends on the shape and hardness of the material to be cut. Okay. The length of the hammer handle for 500-gram hammer should be about that should be about 300 mm. Okay. The hammer used for propagating metal in one direction along the line of strike. That is crosspin hammer. You can see here in the image the crosspin. Okay. So this is the crosspin. Okay. So the hammer face is flat and the pin is built into the cross of the handle. Okay. It is mostly used for making grooves in sheet job and for impacting on inner bend of sheet job while folding it. Okay. This weight is around 0.125 to 1.5 kgs. Okay. So thank you.